Samsung Galaxy S7 versus Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus coming up right now. Let's go. So what is up, guys? This is Nick here from Everything Tech, helping you to master your technology, and welcome to the Samsung Galaxy S7 versus the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. Now, unlike most of my videos, I'm not just going to run a speed test between these two. We're going to talk about the reasons why the S8 Plus might be a better option, or if you just stick with your Galaxy S7 here, because I know a lot of people want to know more than just speed here when it comes to the S7 and the S8. So I'm just going to boot them up while we talk in 3, 2, and 1. And let's just talk about the thing that most people don't really care about, but we got to get it out of the way anyway. This right here is a Samsung Galaxy S7. It does have an Exynos edition if you get the international model, but I have a Snapdragon 821 CPU and 4 gigs of RAM here for the S7. This S8 is the upgraded Snapdragon 835 CPU and 4 gigs of RAM as well. So no increase on the RAM here. So this is a great video for those of you who have Snapdragon series S7, basically the people who live in the North American market, and you're thinking about going to an S8 Plus. For the rest of you in the international market, this could serve good in terms of the software sections, the camera, that's the same around the world. So you can see right out of the gate that the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus does boot up much quicker than the Galaxy S7. So you can see there is an improvement here in the boot up speed over the S7, which I have found to be true pretty much every time I turn on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. Alright guys, so what I want to speak about is the first thing you're going to experience is when you get a Galaxy S8 Plus or an S8 over your prior S7 is the design. Now this is the one that sticks out right in your face with the Infinity display, but that's not the only thing you're going to notice. So the S7 did bring an industrial design, really good stuff, and I think that, you know, Samsung has been doing it better than Apple for a couple years now in terms of design, but this sides here, they're really hard and a little bit sharp. They're not sharp like super sharp, but there is a little bit of sharpness you can feel around the edges, whereas the S8 I think improves on that, and this is a more continuous, smoother design going around the edges. So although both are very sturdy, both are very strong devices, the S8 does feel like a smoother, more continuous feel around the palm. So definitely a more comfortable phone to hold in the Galaxy S8. It's also a bit narrower, so that makes the Galaxy S8 an easier one-handed phone as well. So you could see about the same in terms of thickness, but the smaller S8 is about, you know, a little bit narrower than the Galaxy S7. The one thing I do want to mention about the Samsung Galaxy S7 is that the camera on the back is a little bit raised off the surface in comparison to the design of the camera bump on the Galaxy S8, which actually is non-existent. There is no more camera bump. The Galaxy S7 has improved over the prior camera bumps by really lowering it, but now it's completely flush with the design on the S8, making this one of the most incredible smartphone camera designs ever, because most camera phones these days have bumps on the back. So that's actually more important than you might have thought originally. Now, also, I do want to mention that this, you know, heart rate monitor is also flush with the design, but Samsung did decide to put the fingerprint scanner up here, which I don't find to be an issue, but a lot of people do complain about that. But you can see right here, fingerprint scanner on the front of your S7. So if you're a person who likes the front scanner, the S7 might be better for you. But one thing I don't like about the S7 is that you actually have to physically press the button to get the fingerprint scanner to work. Here on the Galaxy S8, you just hold it down and it goes right in. And it is a little bit of a quicker, more accurate fingerprint scanner in my experience here for the Galaxy S7. Other things in terms of design is you do get a 3.5mm headset jack on the S8 as well, so you don't lose anything there. You do go up in the USB-C charging port, which allows for faster transfer speeds, and it is the way of the future in terms of your charging port and your transferring port. And also, your speaker is improved here for the Galaxy S8. With the water resistance, they didn't quite figure out how to make it loud with water resistance there on the S7, so it was a little bit tinny. Here on the Galaxy S8, it's definitely a louder, more fuller speaker, so a nice update there to the speaker design on the Galaxy S8. Now, those cameras themselves are both 12 megapixel dual pixel cameras, so both very similar in the quality, and you're not going to really notice too much of a difference there. I do think the S8 does produce slightly better pictures, very slightly, due to the improvement in the post-imaging processing here. But the front cameras is where you do see a nice upgrade for the Galaxy S8 and an 8 megapixel camera over the S7, and it's definitely a noticeable upgrade in terms of those selfies on the S8. So selfie fans, rejoice choice, you're gonna love this. Also, you do get the Bixby button here for the Galaxy S8 Plus, where you don't get it there for the S7. And that's pretty much it in terms of design. It's a nice update in design, and I think people with the S7, you're not gonna be blown away because the S7 was already an amazing design, but you are gonna really enjoy the subtle improvements. It's like a refined product over the S7. All right, guys, so talking about displays, this is a 5.1-inch display here for the Samsung Galaxy S7 with a 2K resolution, so extremely dense here, and I never had any issues reading on this panel, and this is one of the best panels, if not, this was the best panel I've ever seen on any smartphone until I seen the Galaxy S8 Plus with its Infinity display. But this is incredibly sharp, and honestly, with the Galaxy S8 Plus, you do get actually a lower resolution just due to the fact that it's a much bigger screen here. So a higher resolution here for the Galaxy S7, the small edition, where you do have a lower resolution on the S8 Plus, specifically you see in this video. But if you do get a Galaxy S7 Edge, the resolution is a little bit more close to the S8 Plus here in terms of sharpness. Now, in terms of color reproduction, not really a big update here for the Galaxy S8 Plus over the S7. Huge updates when you compare it to an iPhone, just destroying the iPhone's display in terms of color reproduction and, saturated colors, vividness. Most people would agree. It did win an award on DisplayMate for the best overall smartphone screen, and it shows when you actually use the device. It's got punchy blacks, and if you use an iPhone display and then you use a Galaxy S8 display, you're going to notice the difference. But with the S7, if you got an S7 and you're upgrading to the S8, what you're really going to enjoy is the immersion of the S8. In terms of the colors and sharpness, you're not going to be blown away if you already have an S7. You'll be right at home here with the Galaxy S8. But I do want to mention that the S8's edges do distort the screen sometimes when you're watching videos and stuff like that. You got to get used to this experience. These edges do make for a little bit of an illusion. It looks a little bit weird sometimes if you're used to a flat screen smartphone. Now, in terms of software, the software on the Galaxy S8 Plus is definitely the best software Samsung has ever done here. It's slightly updated TouchWiz version over what was found on the Samsung Galaxy S7. In terms of the notification bars, both are very similar here. Got very similar features, almost all identical features here, except that the Galaxy S8 Plus just looks a little bit cleaner. It could fit more in the settings menu because of its taller display here, and the theme store has been updated just a little bit to look a little bit better here on the Galaxy S8. So I do enjoy what they did with the software here on the Samsung 8.1 experience. It's not a drastic update if you already have Nougat on your Galaxy S7, but they did clean up the icons a little bit, and it's got its own unique look with these icons. And I know this sounds super cliche, but I do have to say that the Galaxy smartphone actually feels like it came from another Galaxy. I mean, they got the Galaxy wallpapers. It's shaped kind of like a planet or something. The way they design their icons now, they don't look very, they don't look very iPhone-like anymore like they used to. I think they used to look a little more iPhone-like. Now I think Galaxy is kind of getting its own identity here with their new Samsung experience. So I really do like that they're differentiating themselves from other smartphones and making their own unique experience here for the Galaxy device. Samsung services are not the best still in terms of continuity and bouncing between your Samsung devices as good as they are on other platforms. But if you do update from the S7 to the S8, software is going to be a slightly cleaner feel and look, but nothing that's going to blow your socks off. It's not groundbreaking improvements here for the S8 if you already have an S7. Going from the Samsung Galaxy S8 to the S8 Plus would be a nice update in terms of battery. I never really got through a full day on the Galaxy S7 here if I was a heavy using it, throughout the day. But on the Galaxy S8 Plus, I can easily get through a full day. The battery life is phenomenal on the Galaxy S8 Plus, and it charges faster than the Galaxy S7 series. Both do charge super fast, but it brings faster charging because of USB-C with the Galaxy S8 Plus. So I don't know about the smaller S8. I'm sure it's very similar to the S7 as it does have a 3000 milliamp hour battery. It might be slightly better due to the newer processor, but I do know for a fact, particularly with this Galaxy S8 Plus, the Galaxy S7 does have worse battery life, and you will be much happier with the Galaxy S8 Plus. I also noticed that the Galaxy S7 with the 820 CPU, I think I said 821. This actually has an 820 CPU. Earlier I said 821, I believe. This one does overheat a little bit more than this guy. This guy hardly ever gets hot, the Galaxy S8 Plus, whereas the Galaxy S7 does overheat from time to time. Nothing that's going to burn your finger off or nothing like that, but it does get a little bit warmer than comfortable if you ask me on the the Galaxy S7 from time to time, where I hardly ever experience that on my Galaxy S8 Plus here. So a nice improvement in the battery department and the, you know, I don't know, the heat optimization you could call it. That's what I'm calling it, the heat optimization. Thinking a little bit more about the cameras. The camera on the Galaxy S8 is phenomenal, but I don't like the fact that I no longer can double tap the home button to go into the camera like I could on my S7 here. So I do have to double tap the power button, which is still convenient. It's still quick launch, but it's just not the same to me as pressing this button down here. This was so easy. You could just pull this in your pocket and just pull out a picture really quick like that, and it's just really great. So in terms of the quick launch, I do like the quick launch feature better on the Galaxy S7, but hey, it's still got quick launch on the side. I'll have to adjust to that. But overall, the camera experience itself is literally identical. I mean, they got identical features, they got pretty much identical quality. If you go over to the left, you can see identical features here. So you can download more features from the camera stores on the Galaxy S7 and S8. Both flip over to the front, and you've seen how close they are. I mean, they're just both pretty great, and they both focus probably faster than any smartphones I've seen on any phone right now. So camera quality on both of these is very strong, and camera is not an area I think that is, you know, something you might want to be going to the Galaxy S8 for, because you're not really getting a big update over your S7. But that's because the Galaxy S7 already had a phenomenal camera. Alright guys, in terms of speed of the Galaxy S7 versus the Galaxy S8 Plus, I didn't really notice a huge update, regardless of the fact that I do have a Snapdragon 835 now right here on the Galaxy S8 Plus. I did line up some applications, and let's just go through a couple of those really quickly here. As you can see, the terms of speed, they're pretty close to the same. You've seen that opened about the same here. Let's go into Instagram, and you can see about the same again. Coming home here, let's go into Play Store. And you can see S8 slightly ahead there, so definitely a slight improvement, but nothing that's going to change your day-to-day in terms of speed. The S7 was a rocket itself. So going into Amazon, you could see S8 Plus and now the S7. Let's go into eBay, and you could see we could run these all day, and it's just going to be the same results every time. The S8 slightly faster, not enough to really warrant an upgrade. So I'm saying, what I'm trying to say here is speed is not where you're really improving a lot on the Galaxy S8 Plus. So far, I think the display and the, you know, the iris scanner, as well as the bigger battery life, is what you're going to be getting huge here for the Galaxy S8 Plus over your S7 devices. Now, one area I did notice that the Galaxy S8 Plus has improved is the gaming department. So if we open up a game, you should see the Galaxy S8 will load games much quicker than the Galaxy S7. So if you're a gamer, you're going to actually enjoy the Galaxy S8 Plus experience better than the S7. They've really touched up the gaming performance on the S8 devices. They're still not as good as the Apple iPhone in gaming. We've already tested it against a couple iPhones which beat it in the gaming, and but they are better than the Samsung Galaxy S7 series. So gamers, you definitely are going to like your upgrade if you go to a Galaxy S8 Plus. So should you upgrade from the Galaxy S7 to the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus? And my answer to that is it actually depends. It depends on who you're talking to. Now, if you care a lot about design, you care about the looks of your phone, you want the sexiest, most modern looking phone on the planet, you might want to get rid of your S7 and update to the Galaxy S8 Plus. Now, if you are looking for faster software improvements, I don't think that the S8 is $900 faster than the Galaxy S7. The Galaxy S7 can hang toe-to-toe with the Galaxy S8 in terms of performance, even with its slightly older Snapdragon 820 series CPU. Both have 4 gigs of RAM, so, you know, both are fast in that regard. If you're a photographer, camera updates, not going to change the game for you at all here, going to the Galaxy S8 Plus. If you're somebody who, you know, wants a bigger screen and you got an S7, the S8 Plus is definitely going to give you a much larger display here. So I would say if you're a media head, if you consume a lot of media on your phone, you got an S7, thinking about getting an S8, go ahead and do it. You're going to be very happy with it. If you're a gamer, go ahead and do the update. The gaming performance is more smooth on the Galaxy S8 Plus and definitely more enjoyable than on the Galaxy S7. If you're someone who just needs a reliable smartphone that works every day, great camera, great speed, solid battery life, fast charging, they both offer pretty much that same experience. So I don't think it's worth you going to upgrade here to the S7 to the S8. So if you do have a carrier discount or something like that where you can easily get an S8, go ahead and do it. You're going to like doing this upgrade. But for those of you who are buying these phones outright, you got to weigh your, pros and cons here. And to me, the pros of the Galaxy S8 8 is pretty much one, and that's design. And number 2, the iris scanner is a cool security feature. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. But, that's pretty much it for me. It's the immersive screen, the iris scanner, and the design. The way it looks just feels and looks better to me than the Galaxy S7. But in terms of everyday functionality, both are just as functional. Both are very fast. Both have great cameras. Both have fast charging. Both run all the same applications basically. And you might even see, themes or an update come to your S7 that makes it look like these icons on the Galaxy S8. So if you just wait around for that a little bit. And specifically those S7 users out there, you do have Edge features on that device as well. So this is not going to be a huge thing for you with the Edges since you've already experienced that out there. Now, if you're on a Galaxy S6 or S6 Edge Plus, this might be a solid upgrade for you. But even that upgrade, I don't know if it might be worth it for you. You have to weigh the pros and cons there as well here. So yeah, this is a refined experience for the Samsung Galaxy S8. It's not groundbreaking, a groundbreaking screen for sure. It's definitely going to change smartphone design, but all the rest of the stuff that goes into a smartphone is not super improved over, prior last year's S7. Anyway, that's my take on it. What is your take on it? Comment that down below in the comment section of this video. Nick here, help you to master your technology. And one more thing, if I had the choice to upgrade to the Galaxy S7, to the S8, I'd do it because I like to be on the cutting edge. Anyway, hit the like button for me if you enjoyed this. Be sure to be well, and peace.